Welcome back to the Thrive 45 Method podcast with me, your host, nutritionist Stacey Nicole Smith. And this is the space where we talk all things weight loss and wellness for the woman in perimenopause and menopause. Now, let's get started with today's episode. All right, we're going to answer the age-old question today, and there's some debate about it online. And that question is, does your metabolism slow down in perimenopause? Now, you're going to have a lot of people saying, well, studies show your metabolism stays exactly the same. And so it's just because you're doing less activity and moving less. Like, did every woman enter perimenopause and say, I'm just going to overnight decide to stop moving as much? That doesn't really make any sense, does it? Like maybe in some individuals, but how does that explain a lot of women in perimenopause? So, and if the studies tell you, well, they don't show that your metabolism changes, here's what I would look at. If you haven't changed anything and you seem to be gaining weight out of nowhere, it is obviously not in your imagination. You could be having the same number of calories, I don't like that word, as you know, but you could have the same number of calories for demonstration purposes and be gaining weight seemingly out of nowhere. A lot of women are experiencing this. Why? Well, and especially if your metabolism doesn't change, why? The reason is because your body is responding differently to the same inputs. So let me explain in the simplest way possible. A couple of things. Number one, as we age, our muscle mass naturally declines. Muscle is metabolically active tissue. So the more muscle you naturally have, the higher your rate at which you burn calories, your metabolic rate, the higher the rate at which your body burns calories, energy, even at rest. So as we're going through these changes and just age in general, the level of muscle mass we have starts to decline. So that means the rate at which our body burns calories naturally would start to decline as well. That's one of the reasons it's so important to have enough protein at this age, because even if you didn't work out, eating enough protein every day is going to help to preserve and slow down the muscle that you already have. So that's one. The second thing is, with the fluctuations and decline of estrogen and progesterone and the subsequent increase in cortisol, the stress hormone, here we're finding that with this fluctuations and more inflammation in the body, our body is becoming a little more resistant to insulin and a little more sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations. So even if your metabolism is not changing based on these studies, we're becoming more prone to insulin resistance, which means eating the same amount and same type of foods can be having a different reaction on the body. That's what's important. The same inputs are creating different outputs because our body's handling it differently. So the solution is not to decrease the number of calories that you're eating, because if you're basing it on these theories, people are saying, well, your metabolism stays the same, you just stop moving as much. Really? Okay, so based on that theory, these people are telling you then, oh, just decrease the number of calories that you're eating to match your lowered activity level. Well, no, because it's not a calorie problem to begin with, it's a hormone communication problem. And you're treating a hormone communication problem as a calorie problem. And that's why there's a strategy mismatch, and that's why it's not working. So here is what I would recommend. You want to maintain muscle as much as possible because it's metabolically active, and it starts to decline as we get older. Plus, we're experiencing anabolic resistance, which means it's harder for our body to utilize the same amount of protein. So you want to make sure you're getting adequate protein as a woman in perimenopause and menopause to maintain the muscle mass that you have, so that can maintain your metabolic rate and keep it strong. Then you want to look at blood sugar. You want to protect blood sugar like it is everything. It's going to also be good for your energy levels. It's going to be good for your hunger signaling. It's going to be good for your food cravings. And this has a lot to do with fat storage more than a calorie. It's what your body does with that food when you eat it. And because we are more sensitive to blood sugar at this age, every time our blood sugar rises, we get an insulin response to try to get that blood sugar into our cells to be used as energy. We are more prone to insulin resistance at this age, which is why a lot of women are experiencing weight gain despite not changing everything. So I think it's more important to look at your individual life than people telling you, oh, your metabolism isn't changing as you get older. That's what studies show. But then you're the woman over here gaining weight and you're like, okay, that's not really helping me because I'm experiencing weight gain, even though I didn't change anything. So if my metabolism isn't slowing and I'm not suddenly lazy and doing less activity, then what's happening? And so these are some of the things that are happening. Our body is reacting differently to the same foods. That's it. So we got to go in and change the hormone signaling. If you need help with this, I put together a free guide, Fat Loss for Women Over 45. Just comment guide, and I will be happy to give that to you. And it'll take out some of the confusion and let you know some of the things that you can do that are not restrictive. And again, that's why, the severe calorie counting, the intermittent fasting, the getting rid of carbs are working against you at this age. It's not that your metabolism is broken and nothing's going to work. It's just that these are seen as stressors by the body. Your body's more sensitive to stress. So it's just giving you a stress response instead of the response you want, which is to release excess weight. So again, grab my free guide, Fat Loss Over 45 for women in perimenopause and menopause. And this is going to help break it down for you what you should be doing instead to work with your changing hormones and stop treating a hormone signaling problem like a calorie problem. That's the strategy mismatch a lot of people are having. So anyway, hope that helps you have a great rest of your day. Bye. Thanks for listening. I hope you found this episode helpful. If so, please be sure to like and subscribe to be notified when new episodes are released. Episodes like this are released weekly for all things weight loss and wellness for the woman in perimenopause and menopause. And for other ways I can help you, please be sure to visit the show notes or visit my bio. Thanks for listening. Bye.